All right, wonderful. Well, what an evening. Thank you all for being here this evening. I am Judy Herbst, the Executive Director of Savvy Ladies, and it really is my pleasure to welcome you all here tonight. All of you that are here at our watch party at Lisa Seiderman's, and our watch party over at our board member Bernadette Davida at Pulcinelli Law Firm. We're thrilled to have you all here as well. So we have probably over 100 people, and we have people watching us on Zoom. Hello, everyone, virtually zooming in to watch us tonight. It really is terrific. I want to mention Veronica Dager is really a champion. Her son came down with RSV, and she texted me over the weekend that she was also showing symptoms. But true to her nature, she is here tonight as well. We're just able to Zoom her in. So this is the benefit of having hybrid, using technology and figuring it all out to make it work. So Veronica, thank you so much for making it work and making your time. And I hope you feel better, and I hope your son is on the mend. Yes. We're standing at such an amazing moment and turning point at Savvy Ladies. We are connecting now 200 women a month on our free financial helpline. That's phenomenal. And that is because women are searching, for financial guidance. They're looking on the internet, they're searching on the web, and Savvy Ladies is there for them. We've upped our game in Google search. We have amazing press and amazing PR support from the media, as well as from all of you, our advocates, our allies, and our supporters that are really making it known around the importance of Savvy Ladies and the importance of financial education for women. So really, thank you all for that. And we have words from I wanted to share with you from one of our clients. You know, they all now are giving us testimonials, and they express how much they appreciate our volunteers. The volunteers spending time with them to explore what they should be building for their financial roadmap. So it's really, really important, the work that we are doing, what you are helping us support to grow Savvy Ladies through our technology and our communication. Tonight, it's been all about fundraising, and we have a goal that we are, right now, as I'm calculating the numbers as they're coming in, you saw me looking at my phone, we're about 180,000. Our goal is 185 with a stretch of 190. I think we're gonna get there before the end of the night. So thank you all for all that support. Really strong. And in addition to our financial helpline, we also launched this year, just in October, our free financial courses. So that's in a partnership with the Fitness Financial Group, and those are free courses we're offering, and we're seeing already in the first 30 days close to 200 women taking those courses, and it's a circle. So they're going to the courses, we're inviting them back to the helpline so they can get their personal financial question answered, and then back to the courses for more information. So it really is a terrific way to build the education and build financial literacy for women. This is what has been Stacey Francis's mission since she launched Savvy Ladies 20 years ago. So we're going to be going into 2023. I'm planting the seed with all of you. In 2023, our 20th anniversary. So Stacey Francis is phenomenal. It is really my sincere privilege to introduce you to Stacey Francis, the founder of Savvy Ladies. And I'm going to throw it over to you because she's over there at our watch party. Woo.
Party here. I hope that everyone can hear me. A great big thank you and welcome to our 2022 annual Savvy Ladies Gala. Yeah. I'm so happy that you're here supporting the Savvy Ladies mission of financial empowerment for all women. We know how difficult it is for women. There's the income gap, but very few people talk about the wealth gap, the savings gap. Women start retirement with half as much money as our male counterparts. And this is exacerbated by being out of the workforce And also, women tell us they don't feel confident. And this is true regardless of her age, regardless of her racial background, regardless of her socioeconomic situation. Women struggle with financial literacy, and that is why we are here, and that is why we are doing this work. But we couldn't do it alone. You can see it takes a room full, it takes a whole world of individuals to make this change. And with this, I want to say a great big thank you to our lead advisors, JP Morgan Wealth Management, for their continued support, Nationwide, Hightower, InvestCloud, Markham, Charles Schwab, and I want to tell you breaking news, NASDAQ just gave us an amazing grant as well to further build out the helpline and be able to bring this on a mobile app so women can access this help even in an easier, seamless way. Tonight, we are here. Your contributions tonight help us give these free resources. And we spoke about our helpline and our online courses, but we also have hundreds of different TED Talk-like videos. We are the largest organization in the country giving free financial help to women. It is so important, and every woman needs a financial plan. Because when women have financial security, they have children who feel safe and taken care of, and overall, their community, helping their community as well. We are so blessed with all of our supporters, our board members, our CFP and financial advisor volunteers, our benefactors. We couldn't do this without you. And one of those special people is our amazing Master of Ceremonies this evening, Veronica Dagner. She is with us tuning in, and she is a reporter at the Wall Street Journal. And not only does she do that, she also has a fantastic book called Resilience: How 20 Ambitious Women Used Obstacles to Fuel Their Success. She has been committed to improving women's lives through financial literacy for years, and we are so honored to have her here. Thank you for being a champion of Savvy Ladies, Veronica, and kicking it on over to you.
Thank you so much, Stacy. It is a great honor to host. Yes, Stacy deserves all the applause. Thank you so much. It is great to host the Savvy Ladies annual gala celebration. Wish I could be there in person, but we are being live streamed from multiple locations, including the lovely home of Lisa Zeiderman, which I hope to see one day. It is an honor. So welcome everyone to the Savvy Ladies annual gala. We're here this evening because we know that financial education is critical for everyone, especially women. Financial education encourages you to ask questions, be unashamed about seeking the answers and the help you need. Women are being bolder than ever before and are taking control of their finances. As we all know, financial knowledge is power. I strongly believe in the power of financial education for women, and for women gaining the confidence they need to create their own financial roadmap. That's why this organization is so important. This year, Savvy Ladies is experiencing accelerated growth. I'm pleased to introduce Lisa Zeiderman, Savvy Ladies Executive Board Vice President, to share their year of success.
So thank you, Veronica. Thank you so much. We're thrilled that you are here as our MC tonight, as our Savvy Ladies MC particularly. Oops. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad that you're all here tonight, both in person and virtually, and joining us at watch parties at Pulcinelli also. Thank you, Pulcinelli Women's Group, for hosting, and to all those zooming in, welcome. Savvy Ladies is having an amazing year. The Savvy Ladies Helpline, as Judy stated, has been growing month over month. We are now serving over 200 women per month and close to actually 300 per month. We expect the helpline to continue its growth. Women each month seek out answers from Savvy Ladies. They seek advice and guidance about their personal finance. Over 80% of our helpline clients tell us that prior to coming to the helpline, they feel anxious, they feel unsure, and they have no idea what to do about their personal financial situation. But upon receiving the personalized financial guidance, they state that they become more knowledgeable. They feel a more positive outlook to move forward with their financial journey. I'm so proud of what we're doing here, and I can't believe that we're about to celebrate our 20th anniversary in 2023. Savvy Ladies' mission is to empower women financially through financial education. I know how passionate you all are because you're here. So you're all passionate about supporting financial literacy, as I am, and about championing women's financial empowerment. It's a mission that we all share together. It's so impactful to provide financial education to those who need our help. It's the boost of confidence and guidance to help achieve financial stability and well-being that makes Savvy Ladies the powerhouse that it is. Each year we honor women, and most recently men, for making a difference in the lives of women at our gala celebration. This evening allows us to bring together our supporters, our advocates, our allies, to celebrate the work of Savvy Ladies. Tonight, we honor Savvy Ladies changemakers, mentorship, and male allies who are all championing financial empowerment for women. We're going to begin the evening with the Stacey Francis Award for Excellence in Mentorship. But before we get there, I want to make a special appeal to all of you. To everyone out there virtually, to the Pulcinella Watch Party, to everyone here, my husband and I really are passionate about this cause. And so tonight, we're going to donate, for every dollar that you donate, up to $10,000 tonight. We will be a match. So you donate $1, we'll donate $1. And let's just keep it going the entire night. The link to give is in the chat for those who are virtual. And if you're at the watch party, the QR code is actually on your program. So please contribute. And now let's take a listen to our founder, Stacey Francis.
This award is very special. It's a tribute to what I stand for and what I believe in and try to do every day. Mentorship is life-changing, and the Excellence in Mentorship Award goes to two phenomenal women, Laura Stone and Kim Ambrosio, two outstanding women from JP Morgan Wealth Management. As mentor and mentee, they've mutually impacted each other, making their life better and their careers. It's my sincere honor to welcome this year's honorees, both Kim and Laura.
It's an honor to be one of this year's recipients for the Stacey Francis Award for Excellence in Mentorship. It's not lost on me that I work for an extraordinary firm, JP Morgan Chase. From day one, when they took a chance on me, to almost 4 decades later, I've had people who saw something in me, like Eric Tepper, now CEO of Chase Wealth Management. And I'm so grateful for Kim Ambrosio. She is an amazing partner. I've learned so much from her, and she makes everyone around her better. And last, you don't make it in this industry for almost 4 decades without mentorship at home. My husband, David Stone, and our adult children, Michael and Emily, inspire me more than they will ever know.
And I am so honored as well to be recognized by Savvy Ladies. I think mentorship for women is extremely important, especially in the wealth management industry where we have so much work to do. We're built for relationships, and I think with a true collaborative and supportive effort, we can all do better. I, of course, have to thank Laura Stone, who has been my mentor and has made me feel like I'm more capable of doing things that I didn't even realize I could do. And then, of course, lastly, I'd like to thank my husband, Tony, who's been my largest supporter through and through, that makes me believe I can do anything. I read a quote the other day that said, behind every successful woman is a tribe of women who have her back. And Laura embodies that. Simply, empowered women empower women, and we've got to pay it forward.
Congratulations, Laura and Kim. You are both indeed supporters and mentors to each other. So let's chat about the importance of mentorship in the workplace. Laura, can you tell us, how did you find each other?
So Kim actually helped onboard me when I transferred over from another department. It was probably over a decade ago. And you know that definition of character, it's what you do when no one's looking. She really helped me. And she was supposed to temporarily cover me as the risk manager. The temporary assignment turned into a really long time. And I just watched her. She was working so hard. She taught me aspects of the business I needed to know, reverse mentorship. And I became an advocate because I saw how good she was.
Kim, how often do you meet and how do you build that relationship?
Well, initially, it's never been anything. It's been more organic. It's never been anything like set in stone. And I just, I noticed Laura, and I would try and sit by her in meetings. I would try her work ethic, her integrity. I was just drawn to her. So I would try and come around her, and then we started this relationship, and it was more organic. And then from there, now that she's my boss, I get to listen to her sage advice every day.
Neat. Laura, what's one thing you've learned from Kim? You had mentioned that there's a reverse mentoring going on of sorts.
Yeah, I've learned so much from her. I will tell you, the biggest thing I learned is keep up with change. Like, you have to. Our world is changing so much. And I watch her. She is the first to adapt new technology. She's like the early adapter of all the tools, and she knows every detail about the business and the industry. And I think it's really important, because if you don't keep up, you become irrelevant.
That's huge. Kim, what about you? What have you learned from Laura?
I would just say watching her work ethic and the way she treats people, like, that is just so important. And she's always encouraged me to be my true self, which I think is important, to be able to bring your authentic self. So I would say those things, and then always, always, always take care of clients.
Laura, how can someone find a mentor if they're new to that, or maybe it's been a while and they don't know where to start?
Yeah, I really think everybody should have their own personal board of directors. And what I mean by that is just look around your circle, a little outside your circle, and find people that you say, I want to have that quality, or I want to be where they're at. And find somebody like 3 steps ahead of you in the company and just ask them for career advice. Find somebody, if you have to make a presentation, that's really good at public speaking, and say, can you help me? Like, people will help you. Or, as I often do, I'll call somebody and say, hey, I was in this meeting. I had no idea what they're talking about. Can you not judge me? And can you explain that complex topic? We all need to have those people who won't judge us. The other thing is, I think people think it's this larger than life fairy godmother or fairy godfather who's going to wave this wand and they're 5 steps ahead of you. I learned from everybody. You can, like, the security guard that we walk into the building every day, like, reminds me to smile and look people in the eye, right? And so I think it could be every level. And sometimes people think it's like this grand discussion that you're going to have. And sometimes it is, but sometimes it's somebody you go to for little forks in the road and course correction.
How do you figure out, though, who you can trust, right? Because I would imagine in the workplace, sometimes things get back to the boss, and you might not want it to get back to the boss if you're, especially you're in a learning position. So how do you suss that out?
You find out really quickly. You just do. I mean, you just do. And I will tell you, I have been at the firm for a really long time. I've been in business, and it's just like, you just find that out. And at our firm, people who treat people well are there for a long time.
What you're talking about seems to me it takes a level of vulnerability. And so, I mean, you're a very senior member of the firm. So how do you find that vulnerability in yourself to say, I don't know something? I would take that takes a level of humility as well.
Yeah. I actually have noticed that some of the smartest people and the people that run companies, the minute you act like you know everything, the minute things tumble, right? So I think I've seen the most senior people ask the questions, and it keeps us out of trouble. So I've had mentors above me who've asked the questions, and I've learned a long time ago, don't pretend you know something, because that'll catch up with you. And the other thing about being vulnerable is you kind of have to. Like, if you're not vulnerable, you're going to really be vulnerable later.
That's a great point. Kim, what do you think? I know you're involved in some formal mentoring programs. So how does that all fit into this? And what's your view on finding a mentor?
So I think it's really important to find someone who has the same kind of core values that you do, because that just makes it more seamless with that mentorship. Finding someone who you maybe admire, or to Laura's point, that you've seen do a certain skill or something well. And then I completely agree with her on the vulnerability. I think it goes both ways, right? I learn from my subordinates just as much as I learn from my hierarchy as well, because there's just things we can all learn from each other. So I think that vulnerability piece is really important.
Laura, you had mentioned some people might think they have a coffee with a senior leader and they wave a magic wand. Would you dive into that a little bit more? Because I'd love to know from you what's a mistake you think people make when they're seeking out mentoring. It seems to me it might have something to do with that.
Yeah. I think sometimes, thinking about how do you find a mentor, I think it's important to expand your network naturally. And the thing that I think about is if you get out there and you help others at every level, you're going to make this life and this career of helping others. And it pays it forward. And you never know where you shouldn't do it because you want to find out where they're going to be, but it comes back to you. And like I said, when I saw Kim, she wasn't trying to impress me. She was just being Kim. And I learned from her. So I wanted to help her, and I legitimately could advocate for her. So whatever you're doing, whatever level, if you try your best and you help not just the people above you, but beside you and those that are coming behind you, it's going to come back.
Some people might say, like, okay, I get above and below, but beside, these are my competitors. What do you say to that? Like, how much do you want to help the people you might be going up against a promotion for?
Well, at some point along the way, that person, like that competitiveness, and I've seen it. I've been at that firm for almost 40 years. And I've seen people be very competitive. And guess what? They get ahead for a little bit of time, right? And then that just is not a sustainable leadership style. And it's not and the more competitive the world's gotten, the more collaborative you have to be. So it could work in a little long run and in a short run, but in the long run, it's just not sustainable.
Have to play the long game for sure. Kim, what's one mistake we should avoid when we're a mentee?
I would say, to your point, thinking it's a magic pill, like thinking somehow this is going to get you ahead or get you a promotion. I think it's all about learning and enjoying that journey of being on it, especially if you can find someone that's paved the path before you and learn from them. I think that's incredibly important.
What about the role of mentors for women? Why do you think that especially is important for some women, Kim?
I think as women, we're wired for relationship. And when we can cultivate that in a collaborative, safe environment, we're willing to take risks that we normally wouldn't. I think a lot of women, we base decisions based on risk versus opportunity. But when you have someone in your corner, like a Laura, it just makes you feel like things are possible. And I'm a big quote person. I was reading a quote the other day, and it just made me think of Laura when I read it. And it said, be the woman who straightens another woman's crown without telling the world it's crooked. And I just think that's something that Laura completely embodies.
Amazing. Laura, I'd love to hear more about your board of directors idea for people who may not be familiar with that. How does that work? I mean, so you cultivate people in different areas of your life, and do you actually physically ever bring them together, or like, what does that look like? How often do you chat with them? Is it an email relationship? Can you just elaborate on your own experience with having a board of directors?
Yeah, I think it just, again, happens naturally, and you find those people that you can trust. And I did early on, I remember when I first started, I was afraid to ask those questions, but as you go, you realize if you don't ask, you're not learning. The things that I would say are important about that is don't just keep calling people when you need something, right? So sometimes if you're a mentor, you hear from them when they need something, and then you hear from somebody else they got promoted. So like make it a relationship. And so I think that's really important. And I think it just comes in circles because like I said before, with this whole reverse mentoring, the universe has changed so much, right? And technology's changed so much. So I have found that it becomes more of a circle. Like I'm not out there helping people. I've got a web of people, we help each other.
That mutual arrangement. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for sure. And it's like you said, the world's changing so much. I would love for each of you to give women 3 tips about being a mentor or being a mentee that we can take away and use in our life.
I would say, again, I would go back to finding someone that you recognize core values and that someone that shares a lot of those values with you. Find someone that maybe, it doesn't necessarily have to be a manager or someone that's ahead of you, but a skill set or maybe a talent that you want to learn more about. And then don't be afraid to ask. Like, I think so often we're afraid to show that vulnerability. So don't be afraid to ask it. I need help with this.
Laura?
And I would say, I've talked about that board of directors. I would say when they give you advice, listen. Don't explain why, just listen. And take the feedback. Take the positive and the negative. So it's really important. And then, like I said, keep in touch with them, but pay it forward too. Like, I think getting outside of yourself, and a tip that I would have, because some people might say, well, I don't have any people I can call for mentors. I would say get out there and volunteer. Like what happens at Savvy Ladies is so important. And don't do this because, oh, maybe somebody will watch me, but like get out there and help other people. Somebody's going to see you in action. And like I said about the coffee, okay, you drank that latte really well. That was amazing. I'm going to promote you. That's not how it works. But I've seen so many people at every level say, I knew somebody, I saw them in action. I saw what they did for the community. So I think it's really important because helping others, it just creates good. It's good for the universe. And I really think that mentorship is like a force multiplier.
Great conversation and great tips. Thank you so much, Laura and Kim, and congrats again on your award. Now, Judy's going to share some savvy client stories.
And before I do that, I'm just going to let Stacy and her husband enter. So I think there's a seat or two you can find. Welcome. So it is all about our clients. And this year we put in place the opportunity to get testimonials from our clients. So part of our automation is we wanted to get and gather those testimonials and share those with our volunteers. It's so important when you get positive feedback, and that grows your base. And we are building a volunteer community as our clients are coming into us. They're finding us, as I mentioned, through SEO, through Google search, podcasts. Stacey does a number of podcasts, Lisa does podcasts, and they mention Savvy Ladies. They come to us. with their financial questions. They come to find us for that financial guidance. It is so important. So we asked actually some of our clients, actually, you'll hear the volunteers later. We asked some of our clients if they would share their testimonials with a short video. So not everyone wants to, because there's safety issues. Many of the women come to us with financial abuse issues. They are low, moderate income women. 74% actually are leading their own household. They have 2 or 3 children. And it's very difficult for them to share their stories. So we really wanted to ask who would participate. And we were very welcoming and surprised to get a handful of 2 or 3 women. And so we have a video that we put together that I really would like to share with you tonight of our client testimonials.
Savvy Ladies is a great nonprofit organization, non-biased, and they match me with this great counselor. I am recommending this nonprofit organization because really it takes care of all women.
From my initial email throughout my ongoing interactions, everyone associated with Savvy Ladies has been responsive, kind, and so very helpful. Savvy Ladies provided me exactly what I was looking for and more. Thank you, Savvy Lady.
I have shared Savvy Ladies with close family and friends. Every woman needs to know about this organization and use it to optimize their personal financial decisions. Thank you, Savvy Ladies, for making me more sure of my financial decisions and future.
It made me feel very at ease to know that this expert works on investment every day. So that is extremely huge added value of Savvy Lady, that everyone providing advice is an expert in their area and in their field.
So as you see, those are just a few of our clients, as we are touching over 200 a month. So it is pretty amazing. And the women that are coming to us will come back multiple times. So we really do encourage them to come back. And with the new app we are putting together with our NASDAQ partnership and the money from the funding, the app will actually be able to have check-ins be made available for our clients to come back with quarterly check-ins, so we can check in and see how they are and match them with another volunteer. So we're really excited about building that journey. And as I have always said, and I will continue to say, all roads at Savvy Ladies lead to our helpline. It really is what is unique about Savvy Ladies. It makes us different from everyone else out there. We can write content, we have the experts, but when you connect one-to-one, a client with a financial advisor and professional, that does make a difference. It is life-changing, and it is really terrific, the clients as well as the volunteers. I thought it would be a good time to check in to see where our donations are. So we can pull up on the screen our Give Lively that we have, which is that QR code you have on the brochures, and I think we're putting it in the chat for all of you on Zoom, but we'll put it up on the screen to see where we are, and are we getting close to that goal, because it is all about enhancing technology on a regular basis, building the communication is where all the funding is going. So, can we share the screen? The magic of sharing the screen. All right. If we can't get it now, we will sure to get it later for everyone to see where we are on that Zoom link. Oh, here we go. All right. 176, 751 over 190. That's amazing. That's really, really terrific. And thank you, everyone. Fran, Suzanne, Elizabeth, thank you for your donations just in the last couple of minutes. Welcome. Come right in. Sorry about that. No. So thank you for sharing that screen. We will check in on that screen later to see how our donations are going. Veronica?
Exciting. And remember about Lisa's matching gift. That was a really exciting, generous offer. So male allyship. Women need to know they're not alone, that it's okay to ask for help, seek out supporters, mentors, and allies. Male allies can help you achieve greatness, advance your career, and encourage you to overcome obstacles. Susan Syracuse, a financial industry thought leader, and Savvy Ladies board member who specializes in advising financial firms on business strategies and advocacy initiatives, speaks with the Savvy Ladies Male Ally Award honorees.
And now I'm so excited to talk with our Male Ally Award winners, Jeffrey S. Grinspoon and Gary Rosen. Jeffrey is a certified financial planner and the founding partner of VWG Wealth Management at Hightower, where he works with business owners and executives. And according to the firm's CEO, Alana Fine, he is a fierce supporter and advocate to her and many other women. And Gary Rosen. Gary is the partner in charge of forensic valuation and litigation services at Markham LLP for the New York region. And here's what Lisa Zeiderman, board member at Savvy Ladies, had to say about Gary. In his role as a forensic accountant, he supports women as his clients by helping to empower them financially with information. He often is called upon to analyze income, spending, and valuation of businesses so that the women who have devoted themselves to supporting their families and children can receive proper child support, alimony, and distribution of assets. Welcome to you both, and a heartfelt congratulations. I feel like this is such a high honor to receive, and I'm excited to talk with you today. So I'd love to start by asking, what actually inspired you to prioritize acting as an ally to women in the workforce? And can you provide some steps you've taken as an ally that you think are important to share in the hope of inspiring others to make a difference? So Jeffrey, let's first start with you.
First of all, I want to thank Savvy Ladies for the recognition of exemplifying a male ally. In addition, I want to thank my CEO, Ilana Fine, who nominated me and sets a great example. And also congratulations to my co-winner, Gary Rosen. After being in the business for close to 25 years, I've been fortunate enough to be recognized by a number of industry trades. However, by far, this award is the one that elevated my stature the most of my wife and daughters. So for that, I'm very grateful too. To be candid, when I first started VWG with my partners, John and Rick, we actually looked for the best person, not the best woman. It just happened to turn out that after a number of advisor hires, we realized that women possess one of the most important qualities for a trusted advisor, and that's empathy. Ultimately, this led us to hiring Ilana Fine as our CEO, who shared a vision to empower more women investors by hiring more women colleagues.
And now, Gary, what are your thoughts on this? Why is this so critical for men to be allies? And can you share ideas on where and how they can start?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, I'd like to also thank the Savvy Ladies. I'm also humbled to receive this award and want to congratulate my fellow winner, Jeff. Jeff, I know you have 2 daughters. I'll see your 2 daughters and raise you one because I have 3 myself. So it almost appears that from the time I became a parent, I was destined to become a male ally, having 4 women in the house. So I kind of grew up and matured that way for all intents and purposes. And I'd be remiss if I didn't thank Markham also. Markham LLP, where I serve as the regional partner in charge of the advisory practice for the New York region, is very progressive. In fact, our C-suite executives, we have a chief legal officer, woman. We have a chief financial officer, woman. We have a chief human capital officer, woman. We have a chief diversity officer, a woman. So essentially what I'm trying to say is women are here to stay. Women are an important aspect of our world. And when I thought about being a male ally, I thought of what Jack Welch used to say years ago, that things are boundless or there are no boundaries for all intents and purposes. And I truly believe that we should just look at people as individuals, and women should have the same rights and should expect to achieve the same goals as men do as they climb the corporate ladder or as they achieve their own personal goals. Forget about the business world. Even as individuals, they should be entitled to share in the same benefits that men do along the way.
What advice do you have for the many women that are listening today on the best way to find an ally or a sponsor or a champion for them in their firms? And then, what do you look for example? So Gary, let's start with you this time.
First of all, I think it's important that a woman or any individual, and I'm going to use the term interchangeable as I talk today, but I think it's important that they find a senior type person, someone that's been around the block, somebody that has power within the organization, But also, I think it's important that that person has the same core values that you have yourself. I think that's important that they have the similar work ethic. And I think it's important that they view the world in which you do. Because if they don't align yourself with a male ally that shares the same values, work ethic, and worldview, you're going to become a chameleon. And what I mean by that is you're going to take on their values, their thoughts, rather than working together as a united front to build a relationship and achieve your goals.
I also think that it's important too that when women are looking for their employer or their firm of choice, that they look at the culture to make sure that there are male allies and champions already there that can support them in their career journeys. So, Jeffrey, what about you? What are your thoughts? What advice do you have for women in finding the right mentor, ally, or sponsor?
It's important to find a mentor that doesn't have an ego big enough where they won't give you credit once you show that you're performing. As difficult as it may be sometimes, find someone humble enough but supportive enough to mentor you and shine a spotlight on what you're doing.
Yeah, I love that. Great advice. I know me personally, I had both male and female allies and supporters during my career journey, and it made all the difference in the world. So I think that is great advice from both of you.
And Suzanne, just one thing, you just mentioned the word journey, and it's important for the people listening today to recognize that this is a journey. There's going to be twists. There's going to be turns. And as you go on this journey together with your mentor or your ally, maybe even that destination that you're looking to get to is going to change as well. And it's important that you have somebody there that's going to support you along the way.
Agreed. That's a great point. I'm glad that you brought that up. So let's talk about the importance of empowering women through financial knowledge, which is one of the key pillars of what Savvy Lady stands for, right? So what can male and female leaders do to support this mission, both personally and professionally? Jeff, why don't we start with you?
As an owner of a financial advisory practice, I'm going to go back to just making a practical business decision. Women control more than $10 trillion of total U.S. household assets, about 1/3. And guess what? That's only going to continue to grow because the population's getting older and statistically, women live longer than men. So I'll just make a common sense recommendation that businesses should focus on women because it makes the most sense from a business perspective outside of just trying to support women in general. So for VWG, we consciously look for bright, personable women to train and educate on how to become a successful advisor. They're the ones that are going to relate to the woman client the best. And I will close with one metric that I'm most proud of our group, that in 18 years of VWG coming together, we've never had an employee leave us outside of the person that worked at the front desk.
Wow, that's quite a testament to your culture as well. So I know you had mentioned about some things that you've done personally for your own daughters on educating them on the basics of, budgeting and financial 101. Can you share a little bit about that?
Sure. So early on, I had experience with my daughters that just exemplified that they weren't getting the personal financial education in the school system. And so I want them to be financially independent. I want to empower them. So what I did was I created a PowerPoint slide directly towards them that just give them the building blocks of personal finance. Taught them what a paycheck looks like, showed them how taxes work, show them what inflation is. And what's funny is I created this when there was no inflation. So I didn't even know what inflation was at that time until now. And so I created this and I basically put them through a seminar before they went off to college. Since then, I've had conversations with clients where they have asked me to send them this PowerPoint. So it's become a part of our business process as well.
I think that is such a great added value to your clients, for your clients' children, but also what a great leg up for your daughters. I wish that more parents were able to do that. So maybe you can share that slide at some point on the Savvy Ladies website. Gary, what about you? What are some things that male and female leaders can do to support financial knowledge to women, both personally and professionally?
I always tell my clients when I meet with them for the first time that knowledge is power, and financial knowledge is even more powerful as the situation they're going through, whether it's a matrimonial matter, whether it's a shareholder dispute, whether it's a partnership dispute. Anytime you have additional power, you're pretty much in the driver's seat. It's also important to recognize that you don't need to use that power all at once. You gather this knowledge. As I said earlier, it's a journey. And there are so many things that impact financial knowledge as well as the finances today. You have both macro and microeconomic issues. You've got a global economy here where it's pretty much, for all intents and purposes, the butterfly effect at work, where a butterfly will flutter halfway across the world and it changes the economics in a country thousands of miles away. So I think it's important that as an individual, one should gather as much knowledge, both from a financial standpoint, but also from a socioeconomic standpoint. They should read. They should take up a sport, because by taking up a sport, you're interacting with other people and you have an opportunity to see how those people feel, both from a personal standpoint as well as a financial standpoint. It could be just getting out and walking to see how the economics of today's world are impacting the neighborhood that you live in. So I think it's important that everybody continues to be involved and learn as much as they can from a financial standpoint, but again, also from a socio-economic standpoint.
Great. Well, thank you. And I know Savvy Ladies has some terrific resources that can also help a lot of the leaders that are out there, provide that to the people that they're mentoring, the women that they're mentoring. There's great webinar series that Savvy Ladies is doing as well. And I think we're seeing more and more women become more interested in having more information about their finances that will help them throughout their both personal and professional lives. So I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to be with me today. Thank you for being true allies, and congratulations again on your awards.
Great tips and insights from Jeff and Gary. Congratulations again, guys. Seeking guidance is important and fundamental to the mission of Savvy Ladies. It's recognized that when women take an active role in their personal finances, ask questions, and seek out advice from trusted resources, they can define their own future. It takes a community of professional volunteers to make this happen. Your financial support helps Savvy Ladies build a robust, diverse community of financial professionals from around the country that offer their time and expertise to answer financial questions for women. Let's hear from a few Savvy volunteers on why they do what they do.
I believe that I can positively impact women's life by providing the best financial tools to tackle the financial situation. And this to me is very meaningful work. And I am thankful I have a resource like this where I could give back to the society.
I decided to become a helpline volunteer because I personally saw it as an opportunity for me to give back to women and for me to do something that was in alignment with my commitment for the financial empowerment of women and families.
I decided to become a Savvy Ladies organization volunteer because I really thought the messaging and the need for financial guidance is so great. And not a lot of people know that there's this free resource available to them.
I became a helpline volunteer because I've been fortunate enough that I have access to advisors and people to help me with problems. And I've always felt that it's important to use my experience and my expertise to help others who may not have access and make sure it's available to everyone.
Being a Savvy Ladies change maker is indeed an honor. To be a change maker, I believe resiliency is key. So Stacey, over the soon to be 20 years since you started this amazing organization, you've awarded over 20 outstanding women with this honor, with 2 alumni joining in person here tonight, Jeannie Sun and Cheryl Nash. So glad that you're here and giving back. Stacey, tell us, what does it mean to you when Savvy Ladies recognizes women each year as a savvy change maker?
Well, I can't believe I've been doing this 20 years, and I bought this necklace the same year that I started Savvy Ladies, and I wore it with my wedding gown. So I am wearing it here as a special night, and in honor of our amazing change makers that we have here. Change makers are women who are distinguished in their career, but they also give back to others. They pull women along to make a difference. They are role models. They are role models. They are positive. They are outstanding. And tonight we have several change makers here. We are honoring Christy Rodriguez, who is the SVP of Nationwide's Retirement Institute, as well as we have Yasha Schomburg, the co-founder and chief product officer of Investment Cloud. And listen to them as they share these words. Thank you.
Thank you, Savvy Ladies. I'm honored to accept your Changemaker Award. A quote that I always live by is, the only way you can really see change is by helping to create it. And I found that parallel in financial services and helping my community envision what they could create and have tangible impact around it. As a leader of the Nationwide Retirement Institute, there's tremendous opportunity to advocate and educate others, including women and diverse communities, on the importance of creating generational wealth and building a long-lasting financial legacy. It excites and energizes me to think about the ways we can innovate and have impact together to make a difference within our community and within our industry. Thank you again. I am humbled and honored to be recognized for this award.
Thank you so much, Savvy Ladies, for the recognition and honoring me with this award. It's so meaningful, the work you're doing, and to be included and recognized in that is very impactful for me. I think as a community, the importance that we all do individually, personally, professionally, to continue to invest in one another, uplift one another, has such a far-reaching impact. And I'm honored and I'm inspired to do more of it and to be a part of the Savvy Ladies group. I also want to thank my personal mentors who continue to this day to invest in me, help push me, educate, and uplift me. And it's such an important piece of who I am today that I want to carry the work on day in and day out.
Incredible women. It's my pleasure to introduce Jalen Griffiths, the president of the NASDAQ Foundation and the global head of purpose at NASDAQ. She'll lead a fireside chat with the Savvy Ladies Changemaker honorees, Christy Rodriguez and Yela Schomburg, on what it means to build a healthy financial future, achieve financial wellness, and establish your wealth legacy. And before they wrap up, we'll take questions from our audience. For those on Zoom, please use the Zoom chat to post your question. Jalen, I turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Veronica. Very nice to see everybody. Lovely to be here with you all. Ladies, firstly, congratulations on your awards.
Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you.
Yeah, another round of applause. Right, I'm going to kick things off. I'm going to give you a quick, an easy one to start with. When you think about wealth and all the things that we've been talking about today, what does wealth mean for you? Chrissy, why don't you kick it off for us?
So before I kick it off, I think I'm going to redo my video in case my husband sees everybody thanking their husbands. I may need to do a little switch up. So I love it. But I really love that first question because wealth is so personal. I mean, we can go down to the fundamentals of it being the assets that you accumulate, but I think about it in two ways. It's my present and it's my future. And when I think about my presence in terms of wealth, I think about my health. There is no greater wealth than your own personal health. And I say that physically and mentally. Yeah. And I alluded to this, the second part is my future in the video. I knew that I was living out my noble purpose. I have 2 young daughters, but more importantly, representing a community of women, a community of people of color that there was nothing more important than leaving a legacy of the importance of wealth. It is more than an income or a check that you receive. I often heard the statement, you can't pass down a W-2, but what you can pass down through generational wealth is a way that you'll continue to have that. And so for me, it's about creating that legacy of generational wealth, not only for myself and my own family, but for a larger community.
I think community is such an important thing here. I think as well, for women particularly as well, I think, to your point, it isn't just building that sense of wealth for you and yourself. It's you see your family as your community is your family too. Absolutely. And it's the health and wellness of the community also has an impact on the health and wellness of your family and then you as an individual. So it's much outward looking in and inward looking out. It's that kind of two-way street of communication and combination there.
Right.
Gala, what about you? What does wealth mean for you?
When we initially met and spoke of this, I recalled a conversation with my father. I was probably like a brat at 13, right? Some adolescent. And I'm lucky to have had great parenting. But I remember my father sat me down. He said, listen, options are freedom. So like, I know you want to do this, but you're limiting your options. And that's what this means for you. Yeah. So when I think about the stages of my life, some that have gone well, some that haven't, all the decisions I've made, a divorce included in that, and the financial ramifications of that. What I learned out of that was like the absolute presence of that. Options are freedom, but so are your finances and your wealth. Yeah. So wealth is relative. It's personal, as you said. It's about your legacy. It's about your community. But every time I think about my money, my wealth, whatever it is, I think about it as a tool, and I think about it, is it giving me the options that I want? Right. It's not the purchase I want. It's the option to buy that, to go there, to invest, to donate. And so I think about wealth as the options for your present, for your future, as you said, and for really like living into your values, which we talked about earlier in the earlier session.
Right. Understanding your wealth and having control over your wealth gives you choices. Yeah. And you can then impact the choices that you make. Christy, a question for you. Sure. How has, and you alluded to it briefly just then as you talked about what wealth means to you, but how has your upbringing and your career trajectory been a catalyst for you when you think about, your decision to seek financial wellness and health, and how has that, the two combined impacted your journey?
Yeah, that's really a profound question for me to ponder on for a couple of reasons. So I grew up with two parents who were very well educated, both PhDs, but we never talked about wealth. And when I peeled back some of the layers on that, both of my parents are first generation, not only graduated from college and graduate school, but high school and even elementary school. I come from a legacy of a lineage that came from the South that were sharecroppers, to say the least. And so a lot of what we talked about around the table was keep that stable job, work there, get that gold watch, retire, and and don't make any waves and pay all your bills on time. We never had conversations that fueled around how are we going to think about generational wealth? How are we going to think about keeping the money within our family? Mm-hmm. And so it probably later in life, when I started taking finance courses in college, I saw there was a much deeper and a more significant path that I can take in doing that. And I'll be honest with all of you, I sit up here today, I had 7 majors in college. I started off in theater arts and ended in finance. Yeah. I knew there was one believer out there. But I ended in finance, and where I found that passion is I found an opportunity for me to give back. And what better way than helping someone live a financially secure future? And so when I took that and I started working, I moved into healthcare. And then I started seeing these parallels, again, going back to health and wealth and people needing to make sound decisions. And a lot of them derive based on wherever their financial, status was. And so that really was my trajectory. It was my family. It was seeing them work really hard, but seeing at the end of their death, like how are we going to collect money to bury so-and-so, and really not having that opportunity to really have dialogue around generational wealth. And then moving into a personal passion that fueled me to say, how can I give back? At the deepest of my core, I wanted to be involved in an industry that could give back. And I can't see a more noble industry than the one that we're in today to really change the lives of so many people.
That's amazing. I want to clap that. Yeah, we're just turning to you quickly, and I've lost my computer, my phone, so we're going to go old school, and we're going to get the paper out. Cute. Technology. We've heard talk about it today. NASDAQ is working with Savvy Ladies on the app, which I think is going to be game-changing. Go Tech. We are very excited for the prospect of this app and all that it can mean. But thinking about technology, how has tech changed women's relationships with wealth and financial wellness and health? What's that role then? And what do you see changing?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously I'm a tech dork. I'm not a techie, but I'm a tech dork, and I'm certainly a fan of technology. And I'm a fan of technology as it enhances the importance of human relationship, community, and facilitates things, not as a replacement. And so what I appreciate about technology, and especially technology in the financial services arena and financial well-being and in planning space, is that it is a supplemental tool that we see with great momentum and great traction in an industry that was particularly opaque, right? In many of us grew up this way. We didn't really talk about money. It was taboo. I remember being married, being divorced, and then being on dates and talking about money because it's important. Suddenly you're established or you're reestablishing, and I want to have this conversation, and looking at the man across the table from me who wanted to vomit at me because I guess I'm vulgar because I'm discussing money. I'm not asking what kind of car he drives. I'm talking about the ways in which we accumulate, spend wealth, bring our values to light. Things that are important to me are ambitions. And so it's something that we have to talk about, but I think technology helps to facilitate and break down a few of those barriers. One, which you mentioned very well, which was, having the audacity to ask or the vulnerability to inquire about it. And technology helps facilitate, like education, almost at your own pace, where if something is too much, what you can do with technology is you can suddenly achieve different personas or different outflows or outcomes and workflows rather for different types of clients or different types of segments. Who's ready for what kind of steps? How much education do they need? We talked about, the stats actually show, science shows that women are underconfident in making financial decisions. Men are overconfident in making financial decisions, right? They both have repercussions. Yeah. But what it means is that women inadvertently opt out of making decisions and therefore gaining upside, participating in things, etc. But I think when there's technology that can help facilitate, one part of that is education, but what is it like to play with something and to see the outcomes, to dabble with a financial plan? What if I saved this much? What if I spent on this? What if I invested like this? And to suddenly start to tinker, I call it kind of tinkering. But a lot of us like tinker in life. But I think the financial arena was an area that you couldn't do that, or you couldn't do that safely, or it felt too opaque, or you didn't feel that you have the wealth level to call and have a great team like this, right? So you had no guide because maybe your parents unfortunately weren't that for you, and you didn't have that financial mentor, and you didn't qualify, or you didn't feel you qualified for a professional. So I think technology can help facilitate that. They can bring in an additional level of access to individuals, and I think help them start to gain confidence and facilitate a conversation that doesn't feel so, nauseating for some, or certainly voodoo for others. So I really view it as a tool which helps to enhance the experience ultimately that we're all looking for.
And sometimes at its most simple, it also affords you the benefit of time too.
Yeah.
There's often the perception, well, I haven't got time to go and see an individual, to go and find someone, but I do have time to quickly pull up an app or visit a website and just check some stuff out and maybe indirectly speak to someone, but just through technology. And it gives you that additional space to use your time wisely.
And it can tell you where you are. I mean, I look at my nieces and nephews, and my child is too young, but I learned balancing a checkbook. I wrote everything down about, what it was. And that, I understand that that's not the world we live in now, but I think through leveraging technology, it's important to know where you are. No more, no less. Don't live below or above, understand where you are so you can make, again, empowered decisions and choices. And technology, again, can help facilitate that.
And sometimes technology can also provide you multiple options of things.
Yeah.
So I think as part of the research you mentioned, additional research also showed that women in particular need more than one source before making an informed financial decision. Mm-hmm. And so whether it's finding a person to talk to in addition to tech, or actually by looking at technology and thinking, I can visit multiple websites in the time it might take me to do something. And more trusted sources are out there. And the more information I know, the better it is and the easier it is for me to make a decision. And technology provides that access to lots of information that you can then assess in your own time and move forward with things.
Yeah, I wanted to add one thing that's so important. I love this dialogue that we're having. I read a stat not too long ago that 89% of Gen Z get their financial information from TikTok.
Yes. I read this.
And it's when you just even ponder on that, on how the intersectionality of women we're talking about, but even that younger generation, technology is just going to continue to be so much more important.
It's just there.
And how do we make it accessible and easy for them to digest?
And why more and more we have to make sure that the information is where they are.
Right.
There's gone on the days of if you build it, they will come.
Exactly.
We've got this great information. We've got these great resources, great access. We have to get the information where the people are. And if it's TikTok, it's TikTok.
Right.
It's true. And other places. We've all learned a lot from TikTok.
Yeah.
Sure.
But I want to learn more about your first dates and ask you.
Honestly, I dated wealth managers. Several.
That's a different conversation.
Hedge fund managers and wealth managers, big difference. Very interesting. Christy, back to you. Tell us from your perspective, how is health and wealth connected?
You heard me say that there is no greater wealth than your health. And when I think about that, I think about it, I'll go from statistics that we have through the Nationwide Retirement Institute and then what I've been observing. You know, we just recently conducted a survey around inflation. And when we talk about inflation, we normally just kind of silo it in that dialogue. What we found that there's been so many trade-offs, particularly with younger generations when it comes to their healthcare. 3 out of 4 of the adults that we surveyed said that most of their stress, mental health stress, is financially related. We have people that are making decisions by cutting their pills in half or not going to the doctor. So the intersection is so much there that you cannot separate the two. And then I think about in terms of when you think about your own personal health, you can't show up. You know, there's kind of the direct and the indirect implications when you don't feel healthy of not being 100% in your personal life or in your work life. And so for me, I found that has to be a balance that we talk about because unfortunately or fortunately, the body you're born with is the body you're going to leave this earth with. And so if you don't even start making decisions as a young person to take care of your body, it has longer term implications. And I love when Suzanne was talking to the male allies, they talked about particularly the longevity of women. And so that's something that we also have to be keenly aware of. And so for myself, when I said I was going to go a little personal and I look at Carlo's on my team, he knows I will shut down somewhere around 5 or 6 every night, and I'm getting on my Peloton. Like that is my time. And it's not just for the physical component of it, it's the mental health component of it. And I just think now we're just now starting to see some of the impacts that COVID is having and showing up in individuals, and we have to be keenly aware of that. And really, as financial professionals, start having that conversation of the direct correlation between your client's health, their family's health, and their wealth.
Firstly, I need to know your rider name, so that's Peloton. I love it too.
I got you. I'm on the leaderboard.
I love it. Oh, I'll be chasing you. It's fine. No, but I think you're so right, and I think as well, more and more now, you're finding that in professional conversations that we're having, it's very natural. Where once you wouldn't talk and ask questions about someone's private life, you'd go straight into the professional. Now it almost behooves you want to find out how someone's doing. There's a genuine interest to check on their mental health and well-being and the balance in a way before going into the professional conversation.
And that's the empathy that was discussed earlier. That is a key part of empathy.
Very true. Yeah, over for you. Let's talk about barriers. We're talking about technology is a great tool, which we all agree, as are many other things. But when you think about barriers, what are some of the barriers for women and finance?
I think I mentioned a couple of them, but I'd love to elaborate a little bit. One is, I think, if we start at the beginning, I think about my upbringing and being in a fortunate position where my father was not dissimilar from the gentleman we heard for earlier, right? He didn't make a seminar for me, but we did have very open dialogues about money and as a tool and optionality. And I got $100 a month, which was a very large sum in my childhood. $100 a month. Wow, you have so much money. 70% had to cover my expenses. 20% had to go into savings and 5% had to go to charity. each month. I guess 75. So I'm not doing my math right, but you know what I mean? Like there's a distribution there somewhere. And he would check up on me and follow that. Now listen, he followed the same protocol with my sister who could have cared less, right? And when she had to get home from college, she called a limo. And they were like, who are you? What child are you? Like, where do you come from? I'm from Alaska. Like, there's no limos. It was weird. Anyway, so like, we are who we are. But so one is like the conversation and the tools that you're given. And I think we can encourage obviously young people to have them and to have that dialogue, but to break down some of the voodoo and some of the barriers. The other thing I'll say at the next stage of my life is I was previously married, a happy marriage with a lot of like good intention, and both working and contributing to the household, but we didn't have blended finances. Fine. It wasn't what was right for us. But I'll tell you, when I had a very unexpected divorce, I realized how financially stupid I was. Yeah. I'm very capable. I've always budgeted and was in charge of my life and my well-being, but I wasn't paying attention. And I wasn't paying attention, not because there was distrust, but because he was making the decisions.
Someone else is doing it.
Things were in his name. Yeah, right. You know, like, and I had access to everything, so no big deal until it wasn't. And I felt so foolish, not because I'd been duped or tricked, but because I took my eye off the ball, because this was someone else's problem. And no one ever told me, like, someone comes in and saves the day and takes care of your retirement and all your investments and everything like that. No one ever said it wasn't my responsibility, but no one ever said it was. Mm. And so it suddenly took me in my 30s, rebuilding myself financially, realizing the car's not in my name. My phone wasn't in my name. I mean, it was just dumb. And it's okay, but those should have been conversations that were deliberate and that I understood the ramifications of. And I didn't give it any thought. So talking about it from a young age and then talking about it with your partner, whatever that looks like, being deliberate. I tell my husband now, I'm in charge of everything now, which is probably my control freak. But I'm also like, I don't want you to be in my position. I'm not saying we're going to break up, you know, but it's not fair for me to leave you in a position where you're dumbfounded or you have no idea what's going on. God forbid, you know, whatever happens and I don't make it and you're just sitting there. So I think it is an important dialogue at all stages in life to understand your level of participation, to not opt out, and to realize it doesn't matter whether you're married or partnered with the best person or you're on your own. Your financial well-being is up to you. Mm-hmm. Always, always. Even if you have a partner in crime to do it, it's great. It's still up to you. There is no, well, I don't know. Maybe there's an uncle who dies and leaves you $1 gazillion. I don't know. I haven't found my uncle yet. But so I think being deliberate about it, having conversations about it, and understanding that conversation. Now, digital and tools are a way that you can have that, but I still think we're not having that conversation early enough with young people. We talk a lot about budgeting. We talk about student debt. We're starting to talk about financial health and well-being, which is a really big deal because you're right about the stressors. But I still don't think we talk about the macro thing of like, this is yours and it's yours always. Mm-hmm. So you can give it away, but do so, like, do to a custodian that that you are in communication with. You are getting your monthly statements. They are for your fiduciary, whatever analogies you want to draw. So I think that is one of the major barriers, that by the time some of us have that realization, it's because we've fallen down or we found ourselves in unexpected circumstances. And that's not everybody, but I think it's frequent enough that, thank God for savvy ladies, because that phone is ringing over 200 times a month because people have found themselves in unexpected situations or fallen down for a variety of reasons. So I think that's one of the biggest barriers outside of all the really pertinent things people have said, which is access, right? And education, all that. But I think a lot of it goes down to conversation and dialogue and really internalizing the level of responsibility and importance of this from the earliest of days.
Responsibility is a massive one.
Right.
You're responsible for yourself, ultimately. You can be responsible for others too, but exactly that. I think it's a great way to kind of pull it all together, which is you have to be more aware and own your environment, and then look for help. I think it's also a key thing about barriers. Many people are afraid to ask for help, hold their hand up and say, I don't know something. I think, in the mentor-mentee conversation, Laura, you said it yourself, when I don't know something, I will come out, I'll ask the questions. Well, that's perfect. We need to be able to be more empowered and more enabled to ask and have questions answered for us.
That's true.
Looking around the room, any questions for these amazing ladies up here?
Don't take financial advice from me. I build great technology, and I want it in the hands of everyone of all walks of life to help facilitate their financial well-being. Love it.
And any questions from?
We've got a question.
So in terms of you mentioned that Gen Z is getting their information from TikTok. What do you think we can do as, because there's a lot of downsides to that as well, in terms of, I see a lot of misinformation out there. Even like buy this NFT or even just single stock advice or invest in my company or just advertising, right? Let's say, not even if it's advice, but click on this and then, you're buying. The money's going out the window instead of growing your wealth. So what can we, I guess, as savvy ladies and then as all these respected financial institutions do to help, protect people?
So just before you guys answer, I'm going to repeat the questions just for everyone online. So really think, no, that's fine. I'm going to paraphrase, but what can we do to, as you said, if the information is out there on the likes of TikTok and others, and sometimes there's a lot of misinformation.
Well, particularly for retail investors,
yes,
right? Like single stocks or crypto, there's just so much out there.
Yeah, there's so much on NFTs, crypto, all of that. What can we do to, in a way, kind of help people sift through that information and get to the real meat and heart of what needs to be, they need to really care about and focus on?
So, I would offer two things. First is I think we need to recognize those platforms are out there and how can we leverage them. So maybe it can even be something as simple of 5 things to watch out for with fraud, and make it in a relevant way that those young people will receive that information. I think about my own daughter. She does not go to Starbucks without pulling up TikTok and whatever, comes up. She's ordering, but it's also well, why did you select that? And, just maybe having that dialogue. But think about the TikTok platform and how we can get information out there on, make sure you're working with a trusted financial professional or referencing them to trusted tools that they can leverage. The other places I look at all of us in the room, we have a responsibility to really push legislation. We should really be earnestly, going to our legislators and pushing for laws to protect against that. Because you're right, there's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of opportunity for corruption, but we can do this as an industry to come together and really advocate on the Hill or in different places within our respective states. But then also I think the more tactical thing is think about ways that we can combat it on the platforms that they're going to and they trust.
And the only thing I would add to that, and those are excellent points, which is, again, in the midst of community, I think is where people find more strength and clarity of things, right? And sometimes if your community is a digital outlet, it's a single channel, it's a narrow channel, or it can be. And so encouraging people and, to explore their options, to understand, to canvas people, again, about the dialogue. Well, what are your friends doing? Are your friends day traders on Robinhood as well? Are they following all the advice on Reddit? Right. Did they short GameStop? I don't know. All these things. Are they long on crypto? Right. And I think through canvassing or searching through community, there will be a more balanced view by the very nature, because those channels are, they're going to be there, and when those go down, others will come up. But I agree also with the financial. I have friends that call me out of the blue all the time. Can you give me financial advice? What stock should I buy? I was like, I don't know. Did you look me up on LinkedIn? Did you see CFA anywhere in my name or CP? Any of that? No. And I always am like, get a professional. Yeah. They spend their entire day doing that for a living, and the rest of us don't. And there's massive leverage to be gained out there from it.
One other thing I just quickly thought about, you made me think of this, is that if you are a financial professional, think about your clients and think about opportunities where you can bring their families in and young people, because not only is that an opportunity to educate, that's also an opportunity for succession planning for you. So if your unique value proposition can be dispelling some of the myths and, including your client base as part of that, I would not overlook that one-to-one.
And that's where tech can be a great thing.
Absolutely.
Technology can be great at bringing in next generations who inadvertently start sharing that information and start to build up trust and transparency where maybe they're not ready for, not interested in a personal dialogue.
Right.
I think it's also where you can think through the role of role models as well. And certainly, as institutions are more and more working with kind of spokespeople, role models, because more and more young people who are on all those channels that we're talking about, they're not just looking for all the information, but if there's a particular role model that has caught their eye, they lap up everything that individual is going to say. So there's a very, good option to kind of, align and have with role models as a spokesperson to really help support and amplify the message and get that out there to communities, get that out there to people and individuals as a trusted source. So if you have that combination of the right role model and the right institution behind them providing that information, it's a good mouthpiece for those generations to go, okay, that's what I'm going to listen to, that's what I'm going to pay attention to, and finding those partnerships and seeing the impact of that, I think, is a really good way forward.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Any last questions? All right.
One more?
Or do we have time?
Yeah.
Sure. Well, because you touched on this a little bit, but I was just wondering if any of you had like a really audacious task of policymakers or private sector or anyone else to level the playing field or drive equality, financial equality, what would it be?
So the question is, do any of us have an audacious ask to policymakers on how we would suggest that we level the playing field? Who wants to go first?
I have a really, I'll let you think about yours because I have a basic answer and I think you're going to have a better answer. But I would say two things. One is like simplify. Stop making the amount of disclosures that are disregarded. I myself do it and I see it in all of our client implementations. And I understand it's from a regulatory and a protective approach, but like it's inhibiting. It means that you just don't really know ultimately what you're signing or what's really going on. And so they need to look to simplify instead of essentially all of us covering our butts all the time with language. So one thing is simplify the message and make it more personal. I think the other thing is start regulating more proactively, right? We're a very reactive community or economy, right? We know where innovation comes, which is great. We need to continue to allow for innovation, right? That's one of the beautiful things about America and many other countries. So massive innovation also in the financial sector, but be more proactive about sitting down and collaborating around that. And what does that mean? We're all watching, the demise and the unfold of what's in the massive knock-on effect that's going to be on crypto, but it's going to be whatever comes of it, it's going to be massively reactionary. And now it's going to have like all these other consequences instead of having had, I think, a more realistic sit-down approach to this is the direction we're going. What are we going to do about it as a nation, as a group of, multi-generational investors? And so that's personally, those are very generic, but I, for one, would be pleased if I saw that.
Yeah. No, those are great. I really only have two that I can think of, and I'll bucket them in. We have to make this part of our education, our secondary education. I know 7 states have passed financial literacy. Ohio, where the state that I live in, just recently did that. That is critically important.
Bring back home economics.
But
isn't that what it was? It was economics.
Right, it was economics, but just having a baseline, no matter if your child cannot afford to go to a private institution, but a public institution, to understand the importance of starting with budgeting. But I wouldn't stop there because a lot of communities of color, as I mentioned earlier, we don't necessarily get the information around investments and long-term and retirement planning. So that's one. The second is we have to be more inclusive in our industry. Mm-hmm. Hands down, we need people that have, regardless of their ethnicity, their gender, their sexual orientation, all of us need to be at the table to make an impact and drive change. That is the only way. And I say this, and Suzanne will probably laugh. We talk about this all the time. It's not just being the advisor, it's that full ecosystem. We need people of all different degrees and ages helping build products and solutions, actually helping us sell the products. And so I think that is critically important, is we have to all think of tangible ways that we can make this industry more inclusive, because the clients that we serve and will continue to serve will be diverse. And we have to think about their intersectionality at various aspects of that as well.
Great. Any other questions, anyone? Anybody online? Any questions?
No questions online, we're good.
Ladies, thank you. It's been a pleasure being up here with you.
What a great evening, truly inspiring and meaningful. Judy, what's the grand total?
So we're gonna see, can we go, here we go. Let's see if we can get the screen up to see where, I have no idea where we are either. We know that Lisa was very generous in matching. We're gonna go to the Go Lively screen. Give Lively. Wow. Amazing, amazing. So everyone, thank you. This has been a really wonderful evening. You know, thank you to all our honorees and to our sponsors and advocates. You know, the JP Morgan team, thank you so much for your continued support of Savvy Ladies over the years, not just this year, but years in the past. Nationwide, you as well have been amazing friends and supporters, and really special to the whole Savvy Ladies team. Ella in Best Club, we welcome you as a new supporter and advocate, and you're not going away. So
we're not going anywhere.
You guys are here to stay. It's been absolutely terrific. And NASDAQ too. What an amazing to receive a grant from the NASDAQ Foundation. I think that floored me, and it really is a game changer for us. So it takes us to the next level. I can't wait. So to make things happen for us, it takes a whole team. So I want to thank the Savvy Ladies board, all the board members, Stacy Francis. Thank you for putting this up. These are, Markham, also Gary Rosen, our board member, Hightower, been really special friends to us over the years. You've been terrific, and I'm so thrilled that you came in, and Jeff, you're here and we're part of our team and male allies this year. So really, it's really touching, and it's an amazing organization that I'm just so proud to run as their executive director. And I couldn't do it without Stacy and the board's amazing support. So I'm going to plant a seed with all of you. We will be kicking off next year our 20th anniversary, if you can believe it, 20 years. So Stacy has a story all about that, but we will be kicking off our Building Connections campaign, because that's exactly what we do, is we build connections between our clients and the women in need and our volunteers and all of you. So I hope tonight you've all made connections, you've all met each other, and you've made new friends and allies and supporters. So again, thank you for coming, and I'll turn it over to Stacy to close us out.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much. So I want to say a great big thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone online, hundreds and hundreds strong. And we have so many wonderful people in person, but we also have people across the country who are tuning in, and each person is tuning in for a different reason. They may be a donor. They may be a woman who has used our services. They could be a volunteer, but we all make it happen. And yes, it's been 20 years. And how we started was my small little apartment on the Upper East Side. And I would cook all the food because Michael and I did not have enough money to buy or cater food. And I had 2 kitties, and thank goodness no one was allergic, because they managed to sit on everyone's lap. And that was our first seminar. And I think it was like the 15 tax tips you need to know to screw Uncle Sam. It was something pretty exciting. But wow, have we not come from there. We have worked with tens of thousands of women in need. And I just want to close this amazing evening by thanking every single person who is online that is supporting us, every person that is here. We couldn't do this without you. And we've done so much. But I think what tonight has really taught us is, boy, we have a lot more work to do. And so I just want to give all of us a huge virtual hug. People in person, I'm hugging you, whether you like it or not. It's my Michigander coming out. And I just want to say just a great big piece of heartfelt gratitude, of love, and know that what you all are doing, everyone in their own way, you are changing the world. And boy, don't we need positivity. Don't we need goodness? And I want to say thank you, because you are the ones who are doing it. Thank you again. So here is to to the finished finale of the Savvy Ladies Gala. Everybody get a drink. If you're at home, get a drink too. No pressure for alcohol. They can be mocktails as well. But thank you so much. Night, night.